should have it right there. There he is. Good afternoon, one and all. All right, we are ready to roll. A little bit late coming on, but we're not late. I believe our audio should be fine. Yep, Gian says the audio is good. Folks, it's fast moving. We're going to go on the fly here. Yep. Bear with me. All right, I think we are good to go. There's a lot of developments here, a lot of fast-moving developments with this story, with what's going on locally, I should mention. And to me, to me, this is a real battle. That's the Barrington teacher. That is still, hi there, there's Linda. Andrea Lemire is here. Lynn Miller, no. People need to know who he is because he's getting a free pass. We're going to start in 10 seconds. He is getting, I don't care what anyone says, he's getting a free pass. Lynn Miller from our local media. All right, at 106. Folks, what a week this has been regarding, and obviously by now, well, maybe people don't know by now, but they have the shooter in custody. We have a lot to talk about with it right now. We'll give you the latest on it, as a matter of fact. Now, we are, as we speak, for just this moment, I'll get that off. Yes. I don't know. I'm going to talk. He is on vacation. It's not even this. He's on administrative leave, but I want to stay on schedule. Hold on. I'm a little, just adjust that. And one more time, Harry. Okay, I think that's better. Yes, we're going to begin. Right now, we're live. AM 1380. There's Bill. AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Don't forget. And you can always listen online at our website, dpetro.com. We'll bring him up, that teacher, in just a moment. But there's a lot of developments here. There's a lot I want to get to. We're going to stay on schedule. There's a lot of local developments that I really want to touch on. And folks, but this portion of our program, and it's brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Now, don't forget, right now, fall is in the air. They have everything you need. Fall decorations. By the way, it's another beautiful day. We will be out tonight on Road Patrol Live. So now that they have the killer, and we're going to resume our normal coverage. But fall is in the air. Homegrown mums and kale are outstanding. Look for them on Facebook. They have pumpkins, straw bales, cornstarch, gourds, Indian corn, native vegetables, local honey, maple syrup, and more. Gift certificates are available. They're open 7 days a week. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Now, this weekend, because yes, we do work over the course of the weekend, we have, I'm going to have a compilation about all of the local teachers. Obviously, you know, there are some developments with this that I will get to and break. And we had been on this story, and I'm going to tell you exactly. And you know, since we won't get recognition from the local media, who I think drastically fall short in so many different ways on some of this stuff that we're going to, I'm going to explain exactly with what happened. But the fact of the matter is, when you have, and I'm going to talk about the Barrington teacher, and then also we have the situation that I want to mention that I believe we were the only ones highlighting the fact that the Senate president would not condemn the killing of Charlie Kirk. First of all, she's also, that teacher reports to her, but we're going to have a full collation of everything and a gathering of it on depetro.com, brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. Thank you, Janet Dwyer. I appreciate that. Folks, I'll tell you, and many of you, now right now, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on X, and we're live on Facebook. And I'm very grateful for my radio partners down the dial. And you can always listen online at the website. But I think many of you realize, listen, we used to have a liner saying, he tells it like it is. But to me, that's the way you have to operate. I also want to mention, thank you, Janet, because of that. But where was the rest of the media? And they're also, I already know the answer. Why am I asking questions that I know the answer to? I did post this, and I drew attention to it. The fact that the Senate president had not issued a statement, refuses to call the president, President Trump. Last night at 10 o'clock, she released a statement. When was Charlie Kirk shot and killed? When was he shot and killed? But if that's what it's going to take, then that's what it's going to take. And then the rest of the media, well, I'll give them credit. They were saying that she had released a statement on as part of her duties with the teachers union, because the Colorado shooting, they combined it. The Colorado shooting, high school shooting that happened, and then also because it was a college campus. But is that the territory we're in right now? So is that the territory that we're in? That so she's the Senate president, but then when she releases a statement with the teachers union, I'll tell you what she could do is this Barrington teacher. This is not going away. Now, I know that some people are asking me if I'm going to, and we had Anthony on the other night, if I'm going to attend this candlelight vigil. And, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm too angry. We have much bigger problems. I'm not ready to stand there with a candle, let alone at the blanking State House. Now, I did tell them, at least move it to Cranston City Hall. You can have it anywhere. At least at Cranston City Hall, you have a Republican mayor. So at least do it at Cranston City Hall. No one likes to go to Providence. It's not safe to go to Providence. And I detest the state leaders. I do. I know that Helena Folks is excuse me, on Newsmakers with Ted Nesi and Tim White. And, I don't think I'm going to have time to get to it, but something that's not lost on me is she came out of the box with her announcement immediately and starts talking about anti-Trump. And I'm tired of it. And something else that's very significant when it comes to this shooter, and I hope many of you picked up on it, and it's a term the locals, whether it's Aaron Ruggenberg or whether it's Enrique Sanchez or all the progressives at the State House, and it's accepted, and the organized labor people use it, and that term is fascist. That's how they label me, they label President Trump. There he is, the Barrington teacher. Now, this is going to be up to the people of Barrington. I don't think it's enough. He's on administrative leave. This guy who lives in Cranston, I think the candlelight vigil should be out in front of his house. I'll be even clearer. I don't like that the young Republicans put out a joint statement with the young Democrats. Why are you? It's too early to hold hands with the people that are trying to destroy you. That shooter, the shooter from Utah. Now, I think there's also a longer discussion about the fact that he's the same age as the Rehoboth killer, Greg Groom. Both white males, both 22 years old. One went to college, one didn't. One stabbed to death his girlfriend, buried her in the yard. And this kid travels to the campus and kills Charlie Kirk. But it's so important the why. Because he said, the shooter now, that Charlie Kirk was filled with hate. And they're saying he was radicalized. The shooter was radicalized. And yeah, that's where people like this come in. Do you see that there is, how come, notice Governor McKee, find me one elected Democrat leader that is condemning all of these public school teachers that that are posting and then getting in trouble at their different schools because people are drawing attention to it. So you don't see that. Has Governor McKee, the useless one? Helena, folks, is basically McKee in a dress, except she's got a hell of a lot more money. But they're really not that much different. But the shooter, and I do want to get up the image of the shooter, which I will put up. But he used the term fascist, and Charlie Kirk was filled with hate. Gee, where did he get that from? Do you understand now that the progressives and the teachers union, do you see the correlation? Val Lawson, Senate president, head of the teachers union, folks, they are on a mission to get their ilk into the schools in order to target your children. That's where he was radicalized. That's where he was radicalized. Now is it starting to, are some people waking up? You know, you never hear Governor McGreed or the others, you never hear them talk about the Catholic schools. You never hear them talk about the private schools. Oh no, it's always got to be with this guy is also for many years, this teacher in Barrington. Many years he's been putting out Ben Philo. There's the shooter now. Radicalized. I think it's interesting. He used the word fascist, Tyler Robinson, because that's really, in essence, this is a shooter who's a member of Antifa, because that's how Antifa formed. They said that Antifa was the anti-fascist. Do you know how many times Aaron Ruggenberg uses the term fascist? How many times Seth Magaziner, Sheldon Whitehouse, all the progressives reps, all the organized labor people use the term to describe the president, everyone else, fascists? There he is. Maybe he wasn't sworn in yet, but he was basically a member of Antifa. Do you see now where this stems from? You have this type of teacher in Barrington. And I am telling you right now, this is in many ways, this is up to the people of Barrington. Someone put last night, the people of Barrington should hold their children out of school until this jerk is fired. Do you see? This is who they put in charge. And I also see this type of teacher leads to that. Do you understand? And he's protected. He's protected by who? The Senate president, Val Lawson, who's the head of the teachers union. The local press, they haven't even asked her about that. It is actually comical. He was radicalized. He was radicalized. This type of teacher turns to this. Oh, I have to get rid of Charlie Kirk. He's evil. Gee, I wonder where he got that type of an idea from. But this is really a matter for the people of Barrington. I can't speak. Maybe they're comfortable having someone like that in their midst. They shouldn't be. Maybe they're comfortable that someone like this guy, Nicole Salas, sources tell me, Barrington, Rhode Island teacher Ben Philo celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, notoriously used anti-Trump rhetoric in class instruction, and now he's on a paid vacation. So Nicole is requesting, let's see his curriculum and emails. Nicole Salas, who we had last night, is just fantastic. She's another one. She is blacklisted by our local media. They won't give her any press. He should be fired. Thank you, Elijah. He should be fired. So disgraceful. Do you see? But it's not This guy, people, do you see, he's the head of the teachers union in Barrington. He's the head of course he has anti-Trump rhetoric. You know, that wind farm press conference, one after the other, all get up there. And what do? They all attack President Trump. So do you see how this whole thing, it's like a Venn diagram, how it all maps out? He's the head of the Barrington Teachers Union. His mission is to radicalize the students. Radicalize the students. How is he protected? The Senate president is his boss. She's the head of the teachers union, and then he's part of the teachers union. So she protects the radicalization. That's how they work. That's how the state is set up. Who will challenge this? That shooter, basically, how about, this isn't just, by the way, this isn't just a Rhode Island thing. These are public school teachers all over the country. Does anyone see why? And in Rhode Island, Governor McKee, yeah, we got to get more people going to the public schools. You know, kids should leave the Catholic schools and the charter. They should be going, like, what are you talking about? That leads to that. I think I know who that is. Folks, this portion of our program, the windmills, it's brought to you by Propane Plus. Call them today. I am so disgusted. There's an epidemic of public school teachers celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. And this shooter said he had to go. He's evil. He's violent. He had to go. This guy is a teacher in Barrington and didn't know enough that it wasn't appropriate to celebrate that Charlie Kirk was assassinated and speaking on a college campus. What do you think was going on in the classroom? What do we think was going on in the classroom? And you have people saying, well, you know, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. If you have a teacher, if you have someone that doesn't understand that you shouldn't be celebrating, they have access to the children. Folks, this portion of our program, as I said, brought to you by Propane Plus. You know, call them today. What a fantastic job they do. Propane Plus, for all your heating and cooling in Rhode Island, call them 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. But better yet, just go online for all your heating and cooling, residential or commercial. Log on at propaneplus.com. Well, there he is. There he is. Yes, he is white. No one said he wasn't going to be white. You know, people like Aaron with the left, they're actually celebrating. Look, it's a white male. It was a white male who was radicalized. It was a white male that on the cartridges wrote fascists, basically making him a member of Antifa. Antifa was anti-fascist. The amount, I wonder where he was radicalized. Whether it's look at the college campus, especially the Ivy League schools. The anti-Semitism that was allowed. And now you have, you know, Barrington is one of those communities that people move to Barrington. People move to Barrington for the schools. They have a good school system. They have a good school system based on the fact of who are the people in the community that make up that school system. By the way, I also want to mention, I think that governor of Utah, he went on a little too long, but he was great with, there was no rioting. There was no looting. People came together and were praying. I just liked hearing someone that would actually say that message. I love that. And exactly right about that. Now, I want to clarify, because I am hearing from people. Do you see I posted this? A message from the owner of the Coventry pizza owner, Di Petrillo's Pizza and Bakery. I understand they have other locations. From what I understand, they're not connected to him. That's why it says the Coventry pizza owner. This guy made a decision. But just know, apparently they have a Warwick location, I think a Smithfield or North Smithfield location. It's my understanding those people have no connection. No connection. So I did want to share that. Again, I can't be any clearer than that it's the Coventry one. But there is a problem with the mission that they're on. And to me, it's really seen right here. I doubt that Barrington teacher, there's no way, he's not the only one that has the anti-Trump rhetoric. He is the head of the teachers union in Barrington. He is protected as a member of the teachers union in Barrington. Think of the impact he has on young minds. What if you were a young person in his class? You think you're going to stand up and say, no, I disagree with you, Mr. Philo. No, I actually like Charlie Kirk. The guy did a video celebrating that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So the answer is no. How come there's a huge problem with the public schools in Rhode Island? Major problem. And we don't have politicians that will stand up to them. We don't. You know, I've talked about for a long time, the teachers unions are too powerful, and we don't have leaders that will stand up to them. When Governor McKee was the mayor of Cumberland, he started the mayoral academies. He has folded like a cheap suit and now folded to the teachers unions. It's just so disturbing. And I know there's other people, and you can continue to send me some of the screenshots you have. I know there's a teacher in Providence, and there's some other teachers, but it shouldn't be lost on people. The language they use about fascists, because that's how they describe President Trump. And by the way, conversely, that's how they describe you. If you're a Trump supporter, that's what they're trying to, that's the message they're getting across. And where this is really dangerous is they found someone who really took it in, someone who acted on it. He is. That's exactly right, Chuck. Professional brainwasher is what that guy is. Yep. Oh my God. Pinching the face. But why is it allowed? Why is it allowed in our state that why are the union teachers? I'm going to say again, Governor McKee should be out with a statement today saying, I believe that this Barrington teacher should be terminated. Absolutely. We don't need him in the system. Now, Barrington should have done it. I mean, the dirty little secret is no one. You cannot get fired. You can't get fired in Rhode Island if you're a member of the teachers union. Yeah, I mean, I know that sounds insane, but they have made it virtually impossible. But you notice, are there any elected officials? And I've had a busy morning in taking everything in, and to be honest with everyone, again, it's I just, like many of you, I have different emotions about this. I'm not ready for a candlelight vigil. I don't know if I'm ever ready for a candlelight vigil. I'm angry. I view this that we're in a war. They're trying to, do you understand, people like this, how many young minds has this guy corrupted? And they don't even fire him. Now, if you haven't seen the video, I have his TikTok on our Facebook page. By the way, late yesterday, I was the one that put it out. It was so great talking to Nicole Salas last night. I love Nicole. She is so brave. She will also go after him. Why is that? Where was the rest of the media? Why weren't they asking Val? They still won't ask NEA Rhode Island Union President Val Lawson. Why does he have to be a teacher? How come they can't fire him? How come not one elected official? How come Gabe Amo won't say that this guy should be terminated? That's what happens when you radicalize someone. And the hatred that he puts out. Oh, too bad, Charlie. You know, I'm surprised he wasn't offering extra points or credit for anyone that may take out someone like that. Do you understand? People like this, I'm not saying they can't exist. I would just argue they shouldn't be around children. They shouldn't be in a classroom. I have no interest. I don't know this person. I have no idea what type of lesson. You know, you see some people, he was a great teacher. He taught us that Trump was evil. He taught us never to vote Republican. He taught us that Governor McKee is a great guy. Like, look what they're teaching. Absolute disgraceful. But the name calling, Cicilline, White House, Magaziner, this crowd, they can't get through a press conference without attacking and viciously attacking. And because of their hateful words, Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. They fired 3 teachers for refusing the COVID vax, but they won't fire this guy. And I would argue part of the reason why he operates the way he does is because he knows he's got protection, right? Implied leverage. The Senate president, you have nothing to worry about. How come Channel 10, Channel 12, Providence Journal, how come not one of them have asked the Senate president, how come this guy's not getting fired? What do you say to the fact he works for you? He's one of your union members. He's the head of the Barrington Teachers Union. He reports directly to Lawson. Not one of them will ask. And we know the answer why. Because they agree with what he's saying. Folks, this portion of the program, when disaster strikes, everything changes. That's when you need ServPro of Providence. Fire damage, water damage. Call ServPro of Providence today. 401-941-5500. 401-941-5500. Fast, thorough, professional. They're available 24/7. Water damage, fire, mold, storm recovery. You can depend on ServPro of Providence. Folks, like many of you, I just find it's just sickening. And on top of that, I mean it. You know, I posted last night that I find this is very challenging. This is a very challenging time to live in the part of the country where we live, because we have elected leaders. Governor McKee, Sheldon Whitehouse, the teachers unions, say what they want. They can put out the boilerplate privately. They were celebrating that young Charlie Kirk, a Christian conservative, married with 2 children. Some of them couldn't contain their glee and excitement. Some could. But privately, so many of them were celebrating. It's a very challenging time. They despise everything. They don't like Charlie Kirk, his message. I would just argue, I think right now, we are literally surrounded by evil. And I know that's a strong word, but how else would you describe how these individuals act? And when they say certain things out loud, I think it's safe to say, there he is. You know, privately, he and his staff were laughing over the assassination of Charlie Kirk. They call anyone that disagrees with them. They do. They call them fascists. You know, I'd be surprised. They won't say it maybe publicly, but privately, they agree with this idiot pizza owner. I would never go to visit that place. Um, I don't know this individual, Coventry Pizza owner, Tom Bianca, but, mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. But he is getting business. I'm seeing that there are people posting that they plan to go to support his business. See, that's where, and again, those that want to go to the candlelight vigil tonight, fine. I do have a problem, to be perfectly honest with you. I do have a problem with the young Republicans. I was going to invite them to be a guest on the show. But when you put out a joint statement with the young Democrats, to me, that's falling for the trap. That's exactly what it's like they're taking onus. The young Republicans of Rhode Island basically was saying, we're also to blame. I only hear the rhetoric coming from one side. I only hear it coming from one side. In Sheldon Whitehouse, in McKee, in Matos, in Amo, and Magaziner, and all the union blowhards, the union goons that all get a free pass for whatever reason. I don't understand. If someone stands up at a press conference and then the media, they run all of their comments, I don't understand then why something like this, they don't inquire about it, but they don't. But someone like this leads to the radicalization of this. And what did the shooter say? I learned. I was taught Charlie Kirk is evil. All I was doing was getting rid of the evil. I just, and again, unless I'm missing something, not one elected official has called for that Barrington teacher to be terminated. No, he's taken a few days off, paid vacation. He'll laugh about it. Now, part of this is going to come to, it's up to the people of Barrington. It just is, because I know some people may say it then, goes away and it does become a local issue. But this is something that the people of Barrington are going to have to decide, because this guy's not alone. How come not one person in the union called him out? Not one person said, hey, I have a problem with that rhetoric. Terrible. Yep. I don't know what that means. Oh, I'm not going to support anything else. How much longer do we have to put up with this is really my question. I don't know the answer to that. But we need here's the part that I really want to hammer home for everyone is I don't mind being the person that points out that you have a Barrington teacher putting out TikTok videos, not making an offhanded comment in the lunchroom, filming, posting a video celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. I don't mind being the person that puts that forward and uses our platforms for that. I'm fine with that. I don't mind that I had to point out that Senate President Val Lawson would not even condemn the killing of Charlie Kirk. But where are other people calling for it? I don't mind being the one to call for it. But where are the other people calling for it? How come the rest of the media didn't say, yeah, how come Val Lawson? She's the head of the teachers union, and she didn't even put out a statement that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed on a college campus. Now, last night, after 10 o'clock, I condemn Charlie Kirk. There's no room for rhetoric. There's no room for violent rhetoric, blah, blah, blah. How come no one at Channel 10 last night was saying allegedly social media posts from this clown in Barrington? Allegedly. We have the video everywhere. Folks, this portion of our program brought to you by Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. Like I said, I don't mind being it, but I think it's okay for other people to ask, well, yeah, but what about the rest? Quality asphalt seal coating. Listen, get your garage epoxied. They can epoxy your garage, your patio. They do decorative concrete flooring. They can make your pavement look like new. They'll do a sport court resurfacing, pickleball, tennis, basketball. Call Corey, but you got to get on the list now because they only do it for a few more weeks and then they shut down for the winter. Free estimate 401 283 9815, 401 283 9815 for quality asphalt seal coating. I think this event, what we've witnessed, it says a lot. It says a lot about maybe some of the politicians, not all of them, could contain what they posted. But I think what happened with Charlie Kirk really shows the problems that we have. Why is it? It's all public school teachers. There's a woman in Holden, Mass. And here's the part I really want to drill down on. This is someone in a classroom. This is someone with children. What has happened that they don't believe that it's inappropriate to post something mocking that a 31-year-old guy was assassinated when he went to speak on a college campus? So my point is, I think this has unearthed just how serious the problem is. So we're not talking about, like I said, an offhanded comment. We're not talking about someone claims, I thought I overheard a teacher making a joke about it in the lunchroom. I thought that my next door neighbor is a teacher, and I'm not sure, but I think I heard him mention something like this. What does it say about the system that they are totally comfortable posting statements celebrating the murder of someone without consequences? Was Charlie Kirk on that college campus in a violent manner? No. Look at the big story about the 11-year-old in Texas went up, did the ding-dong ditch. Guy came out chasing the youth, fired. Now he's that homeowner in Texas charged with murder. But see, I believe this unearths what is going on. What else has this guy been teaching? What has he been teaching them about President Trump? What has he said in the past? How does he talk about people that run for office? How does he shape these young minds? And there's several people. There's someone, I think, in the Westerly School District that, and here's the part that really jumps out at me. He posted that video. This is the teacher in Barrington. He posted the TikTok. Again, if you haven't seen it, if you go on the Facebook page, we have it. If you go on Instagram, I have it. I will get it up on our YouTube page. I have it up on TikTok. But none of his colleagues said anything. No one in the teachers union said anything. Last night, apparently, at a school committee meeting, our friend Dr. Lisa brought out the fact, and they announced, oh, that's it. He's going to take some time off, paid vacation. But where are we at that no one in his circle thought you were in his class for 2 years? Wow. All right. Now, listen, there's certain people. Send me a message. We'll certainly have you on as a guest. It is, that is a very good question. What if the teacher got shot for his opinion? Yes. That is an excellent point, Paul. Yes. well, then they'd be up in arms. And don't get me started that if Charlie Kirk was a trans speaker, if Charlie Kirk was against President Trump and was trans and speaking, what do you think would happen? Do you think Governor McKee and Seth Magaziner and Sheldon Whitehouse and Lieutenant Governor Matos, if you had a young activist, maybe the guy, what's his name, David something, that was in the Parkland shooting. He's now with the Democrat Party. David, I just had it, not Holt, but David, whatever. You know who I mean. He beat Joe Paolino to be for some position in the party. But what if he were killed? What if he were killed? What if he was speaking somewhere to some trans group or something like that? What do you think the reaction would be? Governor McKee, Lieutenant Governor Matos, Val Lawson, Sheldon Whitehouse, Seth Magaziner, Gabe Amo. Oh my God. They'd be everywhere, the candlelight vigil. And what I'm saying is, what if a teacher made a joke about that after someone like that individual was in fact killed? Do you think there'd be any joking? Do you think that they'd have the tolerance for someone posting a video like that? Let me just quickly look it up. David, what's his name? No, I'm not going tonight. I told you to move it. I hope you make it tonight. I'm not going to it. I'm too angry. David, no, I'm in no mood for. They can David Hogg. That's it, David Hogg. No, I'm not going to it. I've already said that. How many times? I'm a one-time person. Are you going? No. Well, we certainly hope you could make it. I'm not going. I'm too angry. I don't think there should be a candlelight vigil. We need organizing. Listen, these clowns need to be removed. There's no way this guy's alone. There's other teachers like him, and they're getting away with it. But the brazenness of it, the tone, see, it's not tone deaf if they're allowed to get away with it. How many times does he use the word fascist? How many times does he use the word fascist? The shooter basically, as I said, was maybe without, but became a member of Antifa, was radicalized. And if that shooter had done a couple things differently, that shooter would have gotten away with it. How about the father turned him in? And there's something about the roommate. I mean, a lot more details will come out. So much for, yes, David Hogg. So much for family first. If he had brought the weapon with him, they wouldn't have had the weapon. He was not on their radar. He did change clothes. What if he had worn kind of like a hoodie sweatshirt going in and out? And then you'd see less of him. He did have the sunglasses. He was not on their radar. Nope. It was the FBI putting out his photo from video surveillance, and then apparently online making some comments and even making some comments to the roommate. But people that knew him said past couple of years he was radicalized and started to call Charlie Kirk a fascist. And that's what they, oh good. And that's what they, many times that's what they call President Trump. It's frightening. Folks, someone who always preaches a positive message, someone who is just trying to make her corner of the world more healthy, is our friend Marie at It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Good afternoon, Marie.
Hi, John. Happy Friday. How are things in your part of the world?
Happy Friday indeed. Marie, give us some good news and some, I know, give us some good news and some good tips.
Well, The scary news is that we're in allergy season. Ragweed is right there right now. It's been a nice hot summer. Ragweed loves that. So many people coming in who are sniffling, who are sneezing, me included. So it's time to think about things to help with allergy season. So we do have, some teas that can be really helpful. Eyebright is one of the ones. And then we do have a lot of formulations, this herbal formulation called Hybrid AR, put together by a pharmacist. Very good, especially if your allergies are mostly in your sinuses. Within 20 minutes of taking it, you can breathe. And then you just take it once a day and it helps a lot. This is another one that's really good. It has the nettles in it. It has the quercetin in it, and that can be really helpful when you're in the throes of it. You're taking it multiple times per day. But if you take it on a regular basis, it can really help to keep the allergies at bay. And then some homeopathics. So we have a couple different ones. This one's called Allergy Calm from Boyrin, but there are a few others. So, and we do have also some homeopathics just for that postnasal drip, called Hydrastis anadensis. That is really helpful if you get that postnasal drip, especially during the night. You wake up in the morning and you're all phlegmy and you're blowing your nose a lot. That can help an awful lot. So it's allergy season. Taking care of the gut is another thing. So staying away from those processed foods. We have something called Gut Renew that can be really helpful to take every morning. Keeps the gut in balance, that and some probiotics, so that because allergies start there. So as long as the gut is healthy, then you're going to be really helped to get through allergy season with fewer problems.
Marie, I think also maybe some people, myself included, could use some tips or advice on recommendation on a nice soothing tea to calm us down after what has been a very stressful couple of days.
It has been a very rough couple of days, and nothing's going to make it better. But yeah, some nice calming teas. Passion flower can be really good. It calms that mind that just doesn't want to shut up. Gabatrol, a nice product that has the GABA, it has magnesium, it has L-theanine, all those things to help us just calm down and be able to take things one step at a time. I find when I take that, when things are really hectic and when my mind won't shut up, that really calms me. I find within a half hour, I just start sighing. So I'm actually releasing a lot of that tension. So there are a few teas, there are a few products, that we can recommend for that. I mean, anxiety is on high right now anyway, but these last couple of days, you feel anger, you feel sadness, you don't even know what to feel. So those can help.
What's going on this weekend at It's My Health, 1099 Menden Road in Cumberland?
So Saturday we have Pilates class, we have yoga class, and we also have the Power of 8 meditation group meeting tomorrow afternoon. Next Thursday here, we do have the Rhode Island Holistic Healing Association meeting. They meet 5 times a year. There's always a really good speaker. Anybody can come. There's no cost to it. Joining is really good if you're some kind of a practitioner or you just want to be part of it. They have a big mental health conference coming up. It'll be at La Salette, November 1st and 2nd, and we can talk about that more as we get closer. But the REHA meeting is next Thursday here, and we're always happy to host that whole wonderful group of people.
You are so dynamic. You're so inspiring, always optimistic. Folks, stop in and see the Queen of Health, Marie. It's My Health. Marie, what are your hours for the rest of today?
So today we'll be here till 5:30 and tomorrow from 9 to 4.
Keep up the great work. You're building new followers and fans every day. I love your optimistic message, your knowledge. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, John. Same to you. Thanks.
All right, folks, there it is, Marie at It's My Health, 1099 Menden Road in Cumberland. I want to highlight something that those that are watching, and again, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, we're live on X, we're also live on the radio, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. I want a special shout out to David, John at Case, and also, of course, the Lodge. But Stacy is exactly right. She posted they cannot keep using the word Nazis and fascists. You know, that is right. And from what I understand, that is commonly thrown out, a commonly thrown out word in the public schools. And there should be a program. Governor McKee is talking about, hear me out. Governor McKee, you know, he's big on, McGreed is big on the whole, well, we have to stop absenteeism and so forth. I believe, and I'm going to talk to our friend Nicole Solis about this. I believe that we need an effort that we put out to parents for their children to flag public school teachers that are using inflammatory rhetoric. And I believe that should also be part of the message. This is the guy in Barrington, who, by the way, this is the guy, this is the teacher. He's not fired. He's just on, he's got to take some time off, paid vacation. Ben Philo lives in Cranston, by the way. But I believe that public officials in our state, we need to be able to draw out an effort, in other words, to say to parents, if you're aware that a teacher that your child has, that it needs to be reported. You know, think of the damage that this guy has done. He was doing everything in his power. And still, by all accounts, he'll be back. He'll be back in the classroom in Barrington, or they'll place him somewhere else. Remember what they say with the unions. No one gets fired. That's their big thing. Nope, nobody gets fired. You can't fire him. He's a member, he's the head of the teachers union. Do you realize that all those union teachers in Barrington, they report to him? He reports directly to the Senate President, Val Lawson. Something has got to give here. Why is that type of talk okay? Something needs to be done, that if you're a parent and you learn that your child's teacher is using that's very inflammatory rhetoric in a position of power. You know, we all talk about that. Look at what happened with the naked fat coach, right? So now, and hear me out, we know that everyone's offensive, that if a teacher ever touches a student, we talked the other day, a teacher in Providence or somebody bit a student, but they've really nailed down what to do if a teacher inappropriately contacts a student, touches a student, makes the student uncomfortable. But you know what I haven't heard anything, is to me, it should be also more that if you have a teacher, a public school teacher who's trying to radicalize everyone or trying to radicalize the classroom like this guy is doing. And folks, as we know, children, what, for instance, many people would say, would it be okay for a teacher to touch a student? Of course, the answer would be, of course not. He can't put his hands on a student. That's inappropriate. Of course not. But look what they're doing with the mind. Look at what he's trying to get across through his lectures with how he conducts the classroom. This guy is posting TikTok videos, making it very clear to his students that the killing, assassination of Charlie Kirk is something to be celebrated. And not one elected official in Rhode Island has stepped forward and said that that's wrong. Folks, we will be active later with Road Patrol Live. If you're listening to the radio, great job by Gian. It's not easy. Stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. Everyone else repeating, of course, the big news. We're going to be active with Road Patrol Live later, but they do have the shooter. But it is, we need some changes with everything that's going on. Folks, enjoy your Friday night.